And in last night's loss to the Suns, again, the new look NBA that we're in this year, in the Warriors' loss last night to the Suns.
Getting pummeled, by the way.
Exactly right. Steph Curry broke his left hand on a hard fall. General manager Bob Myers told ESPN that Curry's going to have an MRI and CT scan today, and from there the team will determine if he needs surgery and what the timetable is. Our great NBA reporter Ramona Shelburne saying that Curry has fractured the second metacarpal, which is the bone in the hand below the index finger. Now, it's his left hand, obviously, so that mitigates the damage because you shoot with your right hand, but still, this is something that is going to be problematic for him and the Warriors for a while.
Listen, already we've been talking about this team, and Draymond Green, you got to run to put a microphone in front of his hand when they're not playing well. We've already heard from Steve Kerr saying this is the new reality of what's going to happen to this team. I don't think there's any way that this team's not going to be in contention for anything. Why would Klay Thompson come back other than to maybe, just get back on the court and run around? But he could do that. You could do that not in a game situation, though. We'll see how he is come April. So what do you do with this team now? I mean, it's going to look a lot different next year, I would imagine. So it's so odd that this early in the season, because of injury, guys leaving, that you almost feel like, especially what you were playing for the last, half a decade, now you're basically you're playing for nothing.
This is a blessing perception-wise because this was going to be a bad basketball team. We were seeing signs of that early on, that the season was not going to go well for them and people were going to take their shots. Now, at the very least, what you've got here is exactly what the Lakers got when LeBron James had his groin injury during last season, which was, they were trending in the right direction, but then LeBron's groin injury derailed what they had happen. For this, we're not going to remember the beginning of the season for how bad the Warriors were. We're probably retroactively going to say, Steph Curry injured during the portion of this season changed a lot of things about the way they had to go about it. And so things started to trend in a different direction entirely.
Here's Steve Kerr talking about where they go from here after this.
Well, it's a great opportunity for these young guys to play. It's also a little bit too much. You want to bring along rookies as best you can, and we're just putting so much on their plate, but we have no choice with all the injuries. So they have to just seize the opportunity, and we as coaches, we have to help them do the best job they can and continue to learn.
Yeah, so how's that going?
It's a total upside play, though, because now all of a sudden, if some young guys do come out and perform, again, for the Warriors, who are going to be bad, and we're going to be bad with Steph on the court. Now you have, Steph's hurt, so we downgrade expectations. And quite honestly, we're going to put the Warriors aside, and we're going to forget about them for a while.
And it's amazing for usually you sometimes can be that gradual fall. This is the plummeting off the face of the earth. According to Kyrie Irving's flat Earth, they fell right over the edge. And they're
well done. Well, I had to shake your hand on that one. That was wonderful.
They are so. What are you looking for this year, right? Young players stepping up. I mean, what goes on this year? What's the goal setting this year? Because it's completely different.
Well, I guess for them, they'll figure it out because I think they understand what the standard around there has been. Certainly going into a new building, what a nightmare for Bob Myers and company out there who had to open up a new facility in San Fran, this beautiful $1 billion plus facility that now houses a team that might be lucky to win double-digit games.
Well, to that point, what happens now? Nick Friedel, who does a great job for us, mentioned something that honestly, if we're going to have an honest conversation about it,
do it.
Makes a lot of sense.
And while the Warriors aren't going to say this publicly right now in the moment, this is a perfect time to tank. And it's hard to say after Game 4 of the regular season, but if Steph Curry had to miss any time, it was going to be tough for this team to win without him. The fact that he's going to have to miss probably significant time with this hand injury, that tells you exactly where their plan should be moving forward.
Wow. So, by the way, I think Joe Lacob scoffed at that idea and walked up, wouldn't even talk about it after the game. But listen, the reality is what they are and as opposed to what they've been, and how do you quickly turn this thing around? If you're not going to have Steph for a long time, you're not going to have Klay Thompson at all, you want to get better players. How do you get better players?
Well, I mean,
you have a lower draft pick.
They could be tanking and not even trying to tank.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have Klay. Steph is out. So they're going to lose games. So they could easily say, no, we're not tanking, and kind of mean it by saying just the layout of our roster says we're not going to be good.
Well, I guess Nick's insinuation here is sort of a kind one because you're right. again, they were going to be bad. But now if we do all this, now all of a sudden it looks intentional and the burn is a little bit less from the outside world than it was going to be if it was Steph and Draymond out there, two guys that are multiple-time champions and multiple-time All-Stars getting run like this night in and night out. That was going to be an ugly season for them. And now it turns into something where we might look at it and say, all right, well, here's what they can salvage. Because remember, how did this Golden State dynasty build itself? Through the draft, right? These were their homegrown guys. The original Splash Brothers and Draymond were all Warriors draft picks. So they need to get back to, if this is going to be the route it goes, doing what they did best for a while, which is building and finding guys in the draft the way they did with such success year after year for a bit there.
By the way, Infidel's article, he does a great job for us on ESPN.com. He has this paragraph at the end. As for the speculation around the league that the Warriors might ultimately decide to tank this season after having so many injuries to start the year, Lacob wouldn't even dignify the conversation. Quote, I won't even respond to that, end quote, he said before making his way out of the Chase Center.
Yeah. Listen, I don't think they have to try. I think it's going to happen organically.
It's going to be natural.
It's an organic tank.
Yeah. The organic tanks are always the best tanks.
Well, I think so.
They really
it's
are.
good for the, good for the environment.
Keeps the algae out of the
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN Plus. We'll see you there.